Hi guys, Shanna here from CertifiedRN.com. I just wanted to briefly kind of go over why you should get certified. I actually get this question from some of the nurses that I work with in the unit that I'm currently at. And, it's a good question. Why should I? Why should I put myself through all this hard work and all this studying and then, sit for this stressful exam? I mean, we all had to take the NCLEX and many of us remember like that wasn't something fun. But I remember when I first started nursing, I worked on a med surg floor, and it was the CNS there that encouraged me to take the medical surgical certification exam. I had no idea what it was. And at that time, I was like, well, why would I take a certification for med surg? But what I didn't realize is that, when you take a certification, you know, despite what unit you work on, this almost allows everyone else to see you as the clinical expert for your area. You're like the go-to person. You're the one that people want to ask questions to, I mean, and who doesn't like to be seen as the go-to nurse or the one that like has the knowledge and people are like, oh, please share what you know. People look up to those types of nurses. One thing that really made me want to get my certification when I was on the med surg floor is that, it did help me move up the nursing pay scale. Some hospitals, actually all hospitals, will acknowledge certification because they all realize that it is important. Now, whether or not they give you, they pay you like an incentive for getting it, or you put it on your resume and it allows you to ask for higher pay, you know, all hospitals do recognize it. One amazing thing is that I had been working at the hospital for 3 years, and although they probably had told me during orientation that there was tuition reimbursement and that I could actually, go up a pay grade having this certification, I didn't even remember. So I was so thankful that the CNS there was able to tell me that, or actually remind me of that. So that's the first thing I suggest you to do is whatever facility that you're at is go hit up the HR department, or education department, your manager or your CNS, and kind of refresh yourself on what the hospital has to offer to you. How much reimbursement do you get? Step increase? Is there a monetary incentive? Like, do you get just like a bonus for getting the certification? Many hospitals have something. It's just that sometimes they're not just like announcing it to the world, so you have to kind of go look for that. So of course, having that step up financially, is a huge benefit. I'm not gonna lie about that. Who doesn't like that? But the one great thing that I didn't really expect was all the praise that I got for it. I got a lot of admiration from just not only the staff, but like leadership and my coworkers. If you want to advance in the hospital that you're at, it looks great. It gives you the opportunity to stand out among your peers. I figured, it's a good way to always constantly challenge yourself. As we all know, as nurses, like we have to take an X amount of CEUs no matter what to keep our license, right? I know that can differ from different states, but the point being is that we're constantly learning as nurses, and you're never going to not be learning something new, because as we all know in the medical field, oh my gosh, things are constantly changing. We might be practicing something today, and 3 years from now we're like, whoop, you know what? That's not the best practice. So now we're going to change this. So it shouldn't be something where like, oh, I don't want to have to study all that. I mean, point being is that you're constantly going to have to be learning new stuff, period. When I transitioned to ICU, I found out that there was the CCRN exam. And when I got to this point, I wanted to be able to sit for this exam too. If you go to aacn.org, you'll see that there are hour requirements, because they don't want just someone who can be book smart, but we also want to make sure that your knowledge is kind of like together with that. So we want to make sure that you have that experience at being at the bedside, and then being able to take all the book knowledge, bring it together, and then that makes such a wonderful nurse, right? Of course, it's hard to decide how to study, and that'll be another little post that I can go over with you guys, and finding out what's best for you to pass this exam. But, I mean, I won't lie about this, but, being seen as someone that's a clinical expert in the unit, it boosts your self-esteem. And if I think about all the things that it benefited me, oh my gosh, it was so amazing to be able to feel that I could participate in rounds and contribute. I felt that I understood of more when they talked about the overall plan of care for the patient, that I kind of understood. When you sit for these exams, you know, it's not just, especially for ICU or the CCRN, you know, it's just not focused on like the type of critical care you work in at the time. You know, it forces you to see like, okay, well, at any point, if let's say you work on a CVICU, what if you had to take a neuro patient, if there was overflow and, you know, the ICU, that the neuro ICU couldn't take it? I mean, you still got to be that responsible ICU nurse. So it kind of made me a little bit more well-rounded. I did CVICU for 10 years. So the first time I took the exam, um, because there's such a large portion in CV, I did great. But then on the neuro portion, I didn't do so hot. But I've taken it again since then, and here I had to brush up on quite a bit on my cardiac portion before sitting for the exam again. So it kind of keeps you in the now, you know, and keeps you up to date. And I know that there's so many nurses out there who are so competent and so knowledgeable. And yes, you don't have to have the CCRN after your name to be seen as that person. But you know what? It's nice. You know, when you work in the medical field, you know, I mean, I have to say is like those letters count as something, because, you know, we can't just take, you know, whoever off the street and they say like, yeah, I know how to be a nurse, and be the nurse. You know, I know that sounds probably dumb for me to compare that to, but my point being is like, you know, you're knowledgeable, you've had the hours, go sit for that exam. You know, it's a great self-esteem booster, that's for sure. You know, and why not be seen as that person? So I highly encourage it, you know, whether you take it now, take it next year, however you choose to study for it. But, you know, it just takes our profession to the other level and shows people that as nurses, like, we're just not taskmasters, you know, we are seen as experts in our field. And there's nothing more than I want than everyone to see nurses as, you know, clinical leaders and experts in our field, because, you know, we are the ones right next to that patient. You know, we are executing the plan, and nurses are extremely important. And what better way to show it than becoming certified and, you know, showing the world how smart you really are. I hope that helps. If you guys have any questions, feel free to like email me, certifiedrn1234@gmail.com. Check out our website and our YouTube videos. You know, you don't have to take a review course with us. We love just to know that people are using our education and our videos to get certified. So, you know what? Let me know what your story is on certification, and I'd love to interview some people about how sitting for the exam went for them. So anyways, take care and happy studying, never stop learning, and I hope we all get certified. Bye.